The Surfrider Foundation Jersey Shore chapter is dedicated to the protection and enjoyment of the world's oceans, waves, beaches through a powerful activist network. And this organization has been a strong proponent for the preservation and safety of our ocean and its ecosystems. And their passion for the ocean environment and community led them to advocate for legalization of surfing on the Asbury Park beach in 1990. And in 2003, the foundation's impassioned efforts paid off. Surfing was allowed for the first time in Asbury Park on the 8th Ave beach. The inauguration of this activity took place in June 2003 with the initiation Surfrider Foundation Jersey Chapter Asbury Park Family Day on the Beach, a recreational surfing program for all residents, especially those who typically did not have the opportunity to learn about surfing and coastal preservation. Whereas this wonderful community activity is possible due to the collaborative efforts of multiple local and regional businesses, stakeholders, and volunteers who share the organization's love and dedication for the residents of the city of Asbury Park and believe in its vision of a healthy and safe environment. Therefore, it is now resolved that Mayor Moore and the Asbury Park City Council acknowledge the Surfrider Foundation Jersey Shore chapter and its collaborative partners for their commitment to effect positive change within the city of Asbury Park. And I'm just going to say one quick thing about Joe Werner, who many of you know was a council member and one of the people who started this event. And so I think we want to acknowledge them. And Asbury Park Family Day, and I think I speak for John as well, is probably one of our favorite activities in Asbury Park because seeing little kids on surfboards is adorable. But from the scavenger hunt to the safety to the food to the bands, it's truly one of our favorite days. And the reason we are able to have a lot of those things are because of its sponsors, which is the Surfrider Foundation, the Mayor's Wellness Committee, the City of Asbury Park Public Works, Philly Surf Crew, Summertime Surf, Save Asbury's Waterfront, the amazing seniors who work our registration table, Michelle, Tom, Anne-Marie, Anna. They do an amazing job every year. Quick Med Pharmacy, Evan Curcio and Mark Baker, Joe Bonge, Ken Sorensen and Boardwalk Social Club, Belmar Beach Volleyball, Langosta Lounge, Philly Surf Crew, Luigi's Pizza, Jones Bar, The Chat Nibble, Frank's Deli, Wegmans, and Dean's Natural Food. So without all of these people putting that event together, it wouldn't be happening. And I just want to give you credit again for Surfrider always working with the city, whether it's on a plastic bag ban, what we're going to, hopefully work on, which is straws and styrofoam. Just such an amazing resource. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Diana, who is such a great member of the Surfrider and really a lovely human being as well. So I'll let anybody else speak, and then I'll let.
Yeah, so just to echo Amy, really thank everybody, the city and all of you for making it possible. I think this year was, in my eyes, the best out of all 13 years. And so, again, just want to thank everybody, and especially the city. Throughout the last couple of years, we have just built such this strong bond and partnership, and the unmeasurable support is just, it's not unnoticed, and we love everything you guys do, and we thank you for everything you support us in, and we're looking forward to the future.
And anyone here whose name that I just mentioned, maybe we could just come up and do one picture. So, Saul, Langosta, like,
Michael Manziel. My wife and you pick up the kids. It's pretty good.
Hold the mic.
I'll hold the
Switch.
mic.
Say Surfrider.
Surfrider.
Thank you.
Okay, we are on to item B, the city manager's report on issues raised at prior council meeting.
None at this time.
We are on to item C, special events applications.
First application before you is from the Boys and Girls Club for their annual block party on August 24th. Next is the Asbury Park Deliverance Center Community Day on August 24th. Ocean Ritual on August 25th. I Believe in Me mentoring program.
That's on the table. Yeah, we're gonna pull that.
Okay. Greek Orthodox Holy Cross celebration on September 15th. VNA Health Center Week. Charity Kings 7th Annual Block Party on August 24th. The MTV Video Music Awards, August 22nd through 26th. Last Parking Manager Appreciation Day, which is a beach cleanup, on September 11th. And lastly, the basketball tournament on August 11th. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
Mhm.
We are on to items to be presented by City Planner Michelle Alonso.
Good evening, council members, mayor, and members of the public. Tonight I'm presenting to you a request for plans to the CBD redevelopment plan by Sacramento Enterprises for 3 sites. The 3 sites that we are already familiar with, they have been presented to the council in different variations over the last year. But Sacramento Enterprises would like to develop these 3 sites basically together and together as a RAB. But I'm here to present to you what is proposed for the 3. The 3 is 700 Madison, also known as the Savoy, 607 Madison, which is commonly known as the Mountain site. It's currently a surface parking lot. And 574 Cookman, which we commonly call either the bank building or the Barry Slots building. So these projects would be all tied together as well with their parking. Besides the redevelopment of these sites, the parking would be associated with 2 of the 3 sites off-site, and 607 Madison would contain its own parking and parking for other projects. While these projects are under construction, temporary parking would be proposed within the parking lot controlled by iStar on Cookman and Grant.
Can I just
Sure.
for my, because it's a few different things, can you just go through each site and what is being asked that's different?
Yeah, so I tried to break it down with photos so you can get a visual and better conceptualize, the sites that we're talking about. So we'll start with the 607 Madison Avenue photo, which is the photo of the parking lot with a white car in front of it. On this site, a 16-story mixed-use structure with a 6-level parking deck is proposed. It would contain 502 parking spaces, 100 units, and about 12,300 square feet of retail/grocery. There would be, of course, during construction, parking displacement because it's currently a surface parking lot. Those 96 spaces, while this site is under construction, would go to the iStar parking lot on Cookman and Grant.
Okay.
700 Madison, the Savoy. That's the photo you have with the Savoy in it, and a vacant lot across the street. The requester is looking to do a 102-room hotel with event space, a theater, lounge, and restaurants. The permanent parking for this site would be across the street in a residential development with underground parking that the applicant already has approval for from the planning board. So one space per hotel room is proposed. That's essentially 102 parking spaces that would be located across the street to service the hotel use.
And what about the restaurant and
The
theater?
event space.
And the event
What the
space?
applicant is proposing is not quite full dedication for those uses at 607 Madison, but for first priority for the parking. So anyone who's coming for a special event or going to a restaurant would be able to park in 607 Madison. But the applicant has requested that it not be solely deeded to those uses. So when there's not a big event, or it's the down season, or when there's not that demand for all that parking, that those spaces in 607 Madison then can be open for public parking. So that's the proposal as of today.
Just let me ask one more question really
Yes.
quickly. And in peak season, say it's middle of summer and it's a hot day and everybody's there, there's sufficient parking for all of the,
Because 607 Madison's parking is going to be 502 parking spaces, so yes,
okay,
yes. So then the last site in this bundle is 574 Cookman Avenue. It's the photo of the bank building with scaffolding. So Sacred Enterprises has a new concept for the building since last time it was presented. This building would hold restaurant, retail, catering space, television production studio, a culinary school, and a 24-room hotel. The parking proposed is the one space per room, so that's 24 parking spaces. These parking spaces will permanently be in the large parking structure at 607 Madison. Temporarily, they would be in the iStar parking lot over at Cookman and Grand. The requester, the applicant, is here tonight, and they have presented a large board showing the map, basically taking the map that I hand through and gussied it up a bit. They are here to answer any questions and also to add any information that I may have omitted in their request to this council.
Am I missing height increases request or no?
I did not put them in the photos, but yeah, you also should have in your packet a written description which talks about the proposed heights, which is the bank building is an additional 2 stories, correct?
It's 3 stories on the bank building, and we're looking to go up. By the way, Andrew Harris from Fox Source on behalf of Sacred Enterprise and related entities that own the properties.
And if you can just give me the address and the height and the ask for the heights.
574 Cookman Ave. The existing height is 41 feet, allowed is 45. We're requesting 65 feet.
So, I'm sorry, say that again. Andy.
65.
feet is the
And
request.
what is it zoned for now?
45 feet.
how many stories is that in?
2 stories?
How many stories additionally are we talking?
Well, the bank building right now is a huge open space. We're looking to add 3 stories on
Add
top.
3 stories, okay,
2 stories.
2 stories.
I
Okay.
suppose.
all
2
right,
stories. Right now, as you go into that building, it's, although it's 1 floor, the ceiling height is way up there. So we're looking at 2 stories on it. And I'll go into more detail with regard to all the parameters and what we're looking at.
and we've seen a rendering of this already,
Yes, and we have
correct?
those
Okay.
also. So on 607 Madison Avenue, the proposal is for 11 floors of residential apartments. On top of a 6-story parking deck with the residential 10% affordable housing that we're looking to add in there. We're going to have ground floor and mezzanine level retail, including a grocery store. And the height that we're requesting on that is to go to 215 feet.
From
Right now, 96 feet is permitted.
and then approximately what is that? 5 stories?
That's,
No, that's,
All right.
we're gonna go
9
11
stories.
floors of residential on top of a 6-story parking deck.
So 17
stories.
17 stories.
That's not 60.
Okay. And it's zoned for how many stories? I know that you guys are doing the math in a different way than we are.
Well, the ordinance that was passed in January of 2006, ordinance 2761, increased the height to 96 feet in conjunction with having parking on
So that's 9 stories.
Okay.
No.
So the ask now is 9 to
17.
17. Okay.
And what is the tallest building downtown so far? What's the how many stories?
607 Madison.
Before 607 Madison, what may have been the tallest building? Okay, and how many stories is that? I'm just trying to,
I said it wrong last time and John corrected me.
I'm just trying to figure out in my head how that,
It's taller.
it's taller than 17 stories? No, it's shorter than 17 stories. Okay,
I don't think by much.
okay,
It was over 200 feet.
okay.
Yeah,
All right,
so-
I'm just trying to,
I remember we researched it last year.
yeah, and I remember having this conversation when you guys came through with the first plan, and I don't remember what that was. Okay,
And lastly, on the Savoy project, which is 704 720, and again, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail regarding the proposed plan amendments. The existing height of the building is 73 feet. Just want to confirm that. Yes, the existing height is 73 feet, and the proposed plan amendment, we're looking to go up to 110 feet on that.
And again, just approximately in stories, what does that relate to?
It's a 5-story building.
Going up 8 stories.
And we go up
It's total of 8. So 3.
If I can just then go into a little more detail on each one of the projects. On the 607 Madison Ave, as the board is well aware, it's a right now surface parking lot. It's owned by APTV Realty LLC, zoned in the CBD redevelopment zone, CBD mixed use. It's a big site. It takes up or occupies just over 27,000 square feet. As I indicated, we're looking to do an 11-story residential tower, including 10% affordable housing in there, over a 6-story parking deck. The amount of parking space that we would be able to add in there is 5, right now, our count is 508 parking spaces. 508 parking spaces. Right now, when we look at the demand, there are 2 properties that utilize that surface parking lot that would then go into that parking lot. That's 601 Madison, which is commonly known as the Post Building, and then we have 300 Emory, which is the Steinbeck Building. The required parking for the Post Building is 27 spaces. The required parking for Steinbeck is 97 spaces. In addition, the proposed residential tower at 607 would have a demand of, we calculate 150 parking spaces when you take into account studios, 1-bedrooms, and then 2-bedrooms. Consequently, when we add all that together, we have 274 parking spaces that will be dedicated to the building that we're open to build at 607, plus the Post Building and the Steinbeck Building. Consequently, when you subtract that from the 508, that would leave 234 parking spaces that are available.
and how many of these will be used for the Barry Slot building?
I'm going to go into that. Give me
Okay,
1 second.
sure.
So we have also approvals for property on 711, 725 Madison. That was done a little while ago. And we have in there, although parking demand is 80 parking spaces, we're able to fit in there 188 parking spaces. We have an excess of 108 parking spaces. So when you take what is being proposed on 607 and then what the excess that we have in that building, we have 342 parking spaces that are left over to be utilized then for the Kimmett Building project and the Barrett Slot, it's known as the Barrett Slot Building, 574. When you look at the parking demand of a hotel, it's kind of tough to figure. And I'm going to go through the city ordinance, what it provides for hotel uses. But in a hotel, you don't have demand where you have somebody that's in a residential apartment, you know they're going to go there every single day. You're going to have peak, you're going to have non-peak, you're going to have times when it's used more and times when it's used less. So the one thing that you don't want to have is to build a parking deck and have that deck basically empty for half or more than half the time. You have a significant problem in downtown with regard to parking. We can resolve that issue with all these excess parking spaces if it's not used exclusively and set aside exclusively for the hotel. It just doesn't make any sense. We would utilize valet service. We can close doors off when there are events. We can make sure that when there are events and the hotel is full of being utilized, those spaces are being utilized for, and the two buildings, 607 and 711 Madison, spaces are then reserved and utilized. There's no reason, though, if the spaces are not being utilized, the business owners in the downtown cannot enjoy that building. There are people driving around all the time. We have 300 and some parking spaces additional that we're providing. There's excess. Let's use them. Let's be creative. Let's utilize those parking spaces, alleviate the problem. There's only one property in the downtown, right in the middle of the downtown, that can alleviate the parking issues that we have. I hate saying a parking problem, so I remember coming here 10, 15 years ago when nobody was parking here, and that's a different problem. It's a parking issue that has to be dealt with, and I think these projects deal with it. We have $100 million worth of projects that we're looking to do. $100 million to put into this and get these projects done. With regard to the Barry slot building, it's interesting what the proposal is. Originally, we were going to go in and just do residential up top. However, over time, things have changed. With the Kimmett building, originally we had approvals to do micro units in there, and we didn't need any parking for the theater, 800-seat theater. We could have done that very simply. However, it's really, we ended up in litigation with the adjacent property owner, and over the time of that litigation, we started rethinking how this property was going to be done. It's exactly. If we do a hotel, look what we're doing. We're creating 300 plus jobs. That hotel is going to create a significant amount of jobs, and it's going to be jobs predominantly, I would venture to guess, for people here in Asbury. It's creating jobs. And that, I think, is significant for Asbury Park. It's one of the things you want to increase that workforce, and I think we have the opportunity to do it here by doing a hotel as opposed to having micro units. People just live there. We know you got to provide parking. The 574 building, originally we were going to do units on top, but now that we've changed our thinking to do a hotel, we want to do rooms in a hotel on the 2 additional levels. And I believe our count is 32 right now. That may be a little bit less. We're playing with that a little bit. The reason that we're looking to do that, I don't know if anybody's familiar with David Burke, celebrity chef. Very famous chef. He's won the James Beard Award twice, top chef in New York City, the Nippon Award, top chef in Japan, and also in France, the highest honor in terms of a chef. World-renowned chef. He's been down here a number of times. He's going to be looking to take the space to create a restaurant in that building at 574, but it goes beyond that. What he's looking to do also is create a culinary. He's looking to train in Asbury Park chefs for the future. And part of what he's going to do in his concept is to be able to do it right there. The reason that we mentioned a TV studio is because right now, a lot of his cooking is on TV shows. Look at the Food Network, he's on there all the time. They would do productions here also. So we would have a TV studio, we'd have a culinary school where you're training chefs. A celebrity chef, one of the top chefs in the world, is going to train people here in Asbury Park. Train the next generation of chefs in Asbury Park, work with Asbury Park, work with the local workforce to be able to train them in this park. It's an incredible opportunity. Because of that, residential up top, additional excuse, you can add additional hotel rooms, you have hospitality that goes along with this. It all fits together. 32 spaces, where would they go? They would also go in the building 711, 7025. I say 30, I'm going to get to the park and how we're looking to do that also. And also in the 607 block. Now, in terms of the parking, you have here in Asbury part of the ordinance that provides for parking. It's 4-59, and it details parking. And what it provides is this. It says that there's to be provided one parking space per employee per shift and 0.75 parking spaces for a sleeping for a hotel. Or alternatively, when you can't determine the number of employees, you look at one space per room. It also calculates separately in the event that you're going to have restaurants, nightclubs, retail, bars, lounges in hotels in that same section. And what it says is 50% of the spaces that are to be added for the parking requirement, of the parking requirement for the hotel. So you're doing a 50% add-on, whatever you calculate on the first part for the employees and the guests. You then add 50% to do that for the other uses within the building. Here we're looking to have 102 rooms in this hotel. We project overall, between the hotel and also the ancillary, the accessory use, the lounge, the event space, and whatnot, that we're going to have 300 people that are going to become employed, going to create jobs, and 300 people or so in the hotel. We figure about 150 of those people, half would be for the hotel, half would then be for the other uses, the restaurant, nightclub, retail in the hotel. If you look at the 150, 3 shifts, you're looking at about 50 people per shift. 102 rooms, you look at 0.75 parking space per sleeping unit. You're looking at about 1.25 then parking just at the hotel. Keeping in mind though, you have most of the people living here in Asbury Park gaining employment in the hotel, hospitality in the hotel. You're probably not going to need 1.25 because if you're living here in Asbury Park, it's probably going to be closer to 1. And I think that's realistic to have closer to 1. With regard to the hotel, even if you look at 125, 50% under your ordinance is another 60 or 70 spaces. Correct. So you're looking at under 200. What we're looking to do is this: have 1 per room. All right, we'll put that in 711, 725. I think it's a mistake though to make it exclusive. I agree. First priority: if those rooms are taken, they get the valet, they get those spaces. Correct. And we can work that into 711. Have the spaces available for any event. Reserve those areas. If there's an event that's taking place in the hotel, you have then the available parking to be reserved in the parking deck and available to the rest of the public when it's not being utilized. And I think that works out very well. I think 2.5 was projected before. I think it was too much. When you look at the calculations under your code, I think we're closer between 1.5 and 2 total. But I think we should separate it out, do 1 per room, and then do for the event space, the Savoy Theater. And the reason I'm asking this is for this reason. In terms of how the projects are going to be constructed, Tony, Mr. Diamore, go through the staging of everything, the projected construction of all these projects. The parking deck is going to take a significant amount of time to get done. It's a parking deck. We're looking to do RAD bonds with it. We're looking to do new market funding to get that done. These are not inexpensive projects, as I indicated, talking about $100 million. If the hotel gets done first, we have the available parking for the guests. Walking across the street, 711, 725 will be done. Have 108 spaces. That can take care of the guests. We will not utilize until that parking deck is done. We won't utilize the event space for outside events. This way, we don't have to worry about people coming in to utilize that theater, coming and renting to the outside people. We don't have to worry about that. We have available parking, but we don't want to get the hotel done, have rooms sitting here and not be able to use it. I don't think it makes sense. So that's why I think we split the parking, how we're going to calculate the parking. 1 per room, and then figure anywhere 0.5 to 1 for that event space that we have in there, the Savoy Theater. We can then go ahead and get this project going. We're ready to start working on these projects. Now, in terms of the ask that's being requested for the plan amendment, I just want to go through this so we're clear. The plan amendment for the 607 is 215 feet. The use is going to be a parking garage. In addition, and to keep all the principal and accessory uses that are now permitted in the
17.
The all principal, existing principal and accessory uses will continue. We're looking to do a grocery store. A grocery market, accessory uses to a grocery store in the market, which the downtown does not have. I don't think Asbury has one. This would be, I think, a
There's a
central
grocery
location.
store on 3rd Ave. It's called Super Extra. There's a grocery store.
That's right. Not on the southern part of Asbury Park. I think it would be critical, I think it would be necessary to get one over there. Grocery store and market, accessory use in the ground floor and mezzanine level. The parking, as I indicated, going to provide 508 parking spaces at that. For 574 Cookman, the plan amendment is to go up to 65 feet. We're going to ask that the principal and accessory uses that are there now continue. We're going to ask on the upper floors for hotel and accessory uses. Culinary school is not a permitted use, so we're asking for a culinary school to be able to be operated there in the television studio. Because there is no event space that's going to be on that addition that we're looking to do for the hotel, we're going to ask that or a room for that. With regard to 704, 720 Madison, the proposed plan amendment is to allow for a hotel use is not a permitted use in the district right now. To allow for lounges, restaurants, accessory uses to a hotel. That would include a rooftop pool, gym, and a spa. For the Savoy theater space, we're looking for event space, theater, and we'll have catering in there. And then for the parking, as I indicated before, and the height would be 110 feet. I'd like to have Mr. Gilmore come up and go through, go back to show you the boards that we have presented before in terms of what the building is proposed to look like. And also the staging, how it's going to be done, including the staging of shore construction.
Thank you. I'm actually going to start with just the construction duration and staging. So right now we have approvals on 711, 725 Madison Center. We're going to actually begin construction on that this fall. So we're going to start on that. That's where the bulk of our parking is going to be for the Savoy project. We're going to start on that. The Savoy and 574 projects are 18 to 24 month projects. And then, as indicated, the 607 Madison project is a long-term duration project, 30 to 36 months. So for us, time is of the essence on it. We are going to seek opportunity zone funds, new market tax credits, and other pieces available to include our capital stack. But we want to kick off all these at the same time. So the duration and scheduling is very important. Make sure we start on 711 first, that we have guaranteed parking for the Savoy project and also the 574 project, which will be completed first. The last project will be 607 Madison, which will really be the icing on the cake for our CBD proposed projects.
Can I just make sure I have this, because you're asking for a lot of height, and I just want to make sure that I understand the level of height that you're asking. So for 607 Madison, you're going from what story to what story?
Well, right now there's nothing.
Right.
But-
Your zone for what story?
Yeah, back in, was it
9 to
2009?
9 to 17. Okay, just want to make sure I have these correct. So looking for and ask for 8 stories there. Okay, that was 607 Madison. Okay, and then you're asking to go higher on the Savoy?
5 to 8.
5 to 8, so an
We're gonna
additional,
do,
additional 3.
we have to get 100 rooms in the building in order to get the liquor license that goes with it. We need 100 rooms, plus we want to do a rooftop pool up there. So we're gonna go 100.
Additional 3 stories, okay. You know, when you talk about like all these people who are going to work for these companies, I'm not suggesting you don't hire local. I'm only saying too is the number one thing people want to talk to me about is affordable housing, because none of these people can afford to live in Asbury Park.
By the way, we're separate apart from this. We have plan amendments that are coming in for properties on Main Street, on Montrose. All of them we're doing affordable housing. We're doing 10% on this building. And we have affordable housing.
On which building?
607. We are gonna.
Oh, the one I didn't get to yet. Okay, so an additional 3. So we're at.
So we
Oh,
have-
you know why I'm a lawyer? Because I hate math. 8, 9 plus 3. Okay.
But Amy, yes, we are going forward with doing inclusionary housing for all of our future.
all across it.
Okay. 574 Cookman, going, what is it zoned for and what are you going for? Or did I
Well,
do
right
that
now,
one?
you're in the CBD zone, that's your,
2 to 4.
what is that? That's the,
So an additional 2.
okay. An additional 2. That's your
So an
Cookman
additional
and
13
retail
stories
floor.
altogether, give or take.
So it'd be 5 stores.
Up to 65 feet.
Right, no, I'm saying like altogether, if we were asked, if I had to understand you're asking of height, an additional 13 stories, not in one specific spot, but across, if I did that math correctly, which there is a chance I did not.
You're asking the attorney whether or not you're doing
Yeah.
that.
You did it correctly.
Okay,
So when
So
you're
go
you're
from
talking,
9 yeah, 9 of the other ones is 7.
9, 3, and 2,
when you're talking about
from
valet
zone to
parking.
what you want.
Sorry.
Correct.
Okay. Sorry, Eileen, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead, finish.
No, the parking is, I have to like, I'm gonna rewatch this and then go through your parking numbers again because you threw so many numbers at me. I have absolutely no idea what you said. So I would be thrilled if you wanted to send me what you said and I can clearly go through it. I can clearly watch this
Yeah, I'll give
again
you the calculation.
and explain it because I don't have a
And you know,
clue.
we have other maps I can mail to you as well,
Sure.
email to you, where it's really very, very simple. Shows you the parking requirements for each one of these buildings and just the parking supply created. It's
Okay.
really, really simple between these.
And with
projects.
phasing, if you could show me it with phasing, that would make it easier for me to understand.
What we'll do is we'll drop this down to some number.
And we'll do it.
But the bottom line is, we're gonna have 342 excess spaces that can be utilized for 574 and for the support.
And for the grocery store, did you
And
add
the
the grocery
yeah.
store into those, that
Yeah.
number crunch? Okay, and the other thing is you talk about valet parking, first use, and then valet, where will the valet park those cars?
The valet would park them, you would have at the hotel.
As part of the excess number? So say that hotel parking lot fills up, it's done, then where will your valet go?
You're talking at 7-Eleven for the rooms,
Yes,
then we have these, 607.
the garage,
We
okay.
have 3, in the garage, we have excess 108 spaces in the 7-Eleven, 725 Madison, for which we already have approval. It was approved, park requirements 80 for that, we have 188 spaces, we have an additional 108 that will be for the rooms.
Yeah,
Then we have the 607, where we have in excess of 234, when you subtract out of there, post-building and assignment building. There's a lot of, and also the parking for 607. They've got
Right.
150 spaces, we have over 200 spaces that are available for events that happen in the hotel, for the downtown.
and for whatever retail components are coming into play here as well. You know, we're a little gun shy about parking, so,
And we're gonna make sure we have enough, parking for the hotel and other events too. It's a business that we want to run as well, so we want to make sure that they're also covered. So-
You have to keep in mind also that, capitalism plays a part in this too. If you're not providing, a product where people can actually come to because they can't park, they're not gonna go there
Right.
and it's gonna fail. So you have to provide this, and especially when you do it at a hotel, high quality hotel, you gotta provide this to them. And they have to have the available spaces to park. Otherwise, it's gonna end up, it's gonna fail. And that's the last thing that we want to see. By the way, there's Chef Burke is here in the audience.
yeah, so I, like Amy, I would also like to see those parking numbers, like all in one. I'm jotting things down, but just to get them in one place.
And are all 3 of these in an opportunity zone?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And are you gonna be asking for pilots?
Yes.
It's like, as I indicated, these are really the last 3 projects, big projects for downtown. It's $100 million worth of money that's gonna go into it, a significant amount of jobs. That's gonna go along with it. I think the benefit to the downtown is obviously significant.
And the reason I thought the micro units were a great idea, why was that idea scraped?
Because it's a better idea. Listen, you gotta have.
A better idea for who?
I think for the community, and I think for the developer, when you look at it. You do micro units, all right? You have an 800-seat theater, there's no parking for it, right? They enter the fund, we don't have to provide any parking for it, right? So you have 800 people coming to a theater, where are they gonna park? You don't have to do anything for it, you already get approvals for it, that's what your plan provides for. This, at least, it provides parking, we're gonna have parking for the use for the site, not only that. 42 people are gonna live there, you're gonna have a super that's gonna take care of the building. How many jobs are you creating with 42 micro units? How many jobs are you creating by doing a hotel? 300 jobs. I think jobs, honestly, are a lot more important. I think when you look at the net overall benefit, I think the hotel, a downtown hotel in Asbury Park.
So the biggest problem any business owner in Asbury Park will tell you, from Russell Lewis to, is Marilyn still here?
Nope, she
To Marilyn, to Jan from Words, to Mike from the showroom, is going to say they can't find the workforce here. And that's because they've all been priced out and they've gone on to Long Branch or wherever they've gone to find. So I understand the workforce development. We are very passionate about that, and I appreciate the level that you brought here on workforce development. It just totally appreciate the workforce development, and that is absolutely a priority for us. But what we're hearing over and over and over and over again is that nobody can get a yearly rental in Asbury Park.
I think
Pardon?
it's difficult to get people to work. There needs to be training.
And if they're coming in from other places, they're gonna require parking.
But if we train people here in Asbury Park, Salt School has the training. We can work to get that training done so we have local people here in Asbury Park, and I think that's critical. I agree with you, it is a problem. I'm well aware of it. I've experienced that. But there's an available workforce that can be trained to be able to work in the jobs that are being created. We gotta do it, we gotta figure it out.
And we've had a lot of meetings with our management company, and that's one of the things they keep on driving home is that we want to hire local. Because when you live in a community, you have more passion about your community, you care more about your community than someone coming from outside. So that's one of their big goals is hiring local. What's interesting about the management company too is that they're going to set up a whole training program, but they have, I think it's over 300 hotels throughout the world where someone can really get a true career out of this, where they can train, they can start in a hotel, and they can move up to management, they can go to other hotels throughout the country and the world.
And to
It's a
have,
really cool opportunity.
to have talk about training, to have a culinary school in downtown Asbury Park, with Chef Berg training. The opportunity doesn't come very often. It's an amazing, amazing opportunity. And I think it's a game changer for Asbury Park. A number of levels, a number of things.
Have you
As I
projected,
indicated, Chef Burke here, I'd like to have a few words about.
Sorry, I'm late. I was in Saratoga, so. One of the, I was
Did you
raising my
win?
hand because.
Did you win?
I didn't hear who you were, I'm sorry.
My name's David
Sure.
Burke.
Okay.
I'm involved in the project from the culinary aspect, and I'm a restaurateur from Monmouth County. I've been working mainly in New York and around the country for my career. I started in Hazlitt, so I worked in Rose and Lingerie at one time. I do operate a restaurant C right now, one in South Orange and one in Fort Lee. And South Orange is fairly new. We came across the same problem with the local labor, and we started working with the local schools. And one of the ideas for this project is working with Brookdale Community Culinary Program that's based here in Asbury. Spoke with David Stout already, the president. He's on board, and we're going to tie ourselves in with the apprenticeship program so that they get real life experience out of school, so they get guaranteed jobs after their Brookdale training. And we're going to be working hand in hand. We'll also probably have some housing in the off season in some of the rooms for some of the locals, so they don't have to commute or go home at late hours at night during the winter. We want this to develop an apprenticeship program and training program so they can go to any restaurant in this community as a full-fledged cook and make the $20 an hour or whatever it is they'll make as opposed to a minimum wage position. That's one of the things we're looking for.
Is this tied into the culinary school that's located right now in the high school building?
Yes,
Okay,
that's the work that's overseen by Brookdale Community College.
perfect, thank you.
Also, take some kids from Tin Falls, if there's not enough to supply, we'll need 30, 40 culinary students, culinary employees in this project. Thank you.
I think that's it. As I indicated, it's a very unique project. I think it's an amazing opportunity. I think it deals with parking. We're able to, it's a huge issue that we have to deal with, and I think this project does deal with it. You deal with providing jobs, significant jobs, training, great opportunity. There's $100 million that's going to go into it. We're ready to break ground on this one. 35 million, 40 is going to go into that building. It's time to get this stuff done.
And this whole area is opportunity.
And new apartments.
Any other questions?
Just one, did you project how many parking spots are going to be required for the supermarket?
We didn't look at how many specifically for that. We just include that in the overall. Because keep it in mind, when you have a supermarket, you're not going to have, it's not going to conflict with if you have an event late at night. You're looking at more daytime shoppers, and we have 342 excess side, like non-reserved for the hotel. There's plenty of spaces then for people to come in during the day to do their shopping. And that's what this does. You're not limiting or leaving empty parking, allowing people to come in and utilize the slot for the retail shopping, obviously at the supermarket, but also along all the downtown. It provides that parking because you don't have, have all people come to the supermarket. That's great. The parking is right there for them. But it also provides for people that aren't going there opportunity to park that driving all over the place. It resolves some issues.
We are at 30. It's a small little boutique,
Yeah.
68,000 square feet, so we're around 30 spaces. We came up with our calculations.
Any other questions? Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and Council, as you know, if you're inclined to proceed with the plan amendments that were proposed this evening, your next step would be to refer the matter to the Planning Board under the Local Redevelopment and Housing Law for review and recommendation for ordinance changes. That would be the next action item.
Not this evening.
Correct.
We're on to item E, review of agenda items for the August 14th, 2019 regular meeting.
Resolution 2019-275 is special events. Please note that one of the events has been pulled. Resolution 276 is amending the metered parking requirements in the downtown and waterfront areas for November 30th through December 21st. This is an annual resolution to allow for holiday shopping. Resolution 219-277 is for the See Here Now Festival and setting parking rates. 278 is a refund for overpaid taxes on 404 7th Avenue. And 279 is a resolution canceling balances completed general capital improvement authorizations. That is capital projects that are now complete. The project was bonded for. There is additional money left over, which means the project came in under the capital ordinance / bond amount. And we are going to request the cancellation and reappropriation of this funds. Is there any questions on the consent agendas?
No.
Hearing none, moving forward to individual resolutions. Resolution 280 is approval of bills. 281 is the execution of a use and license agreement, which is still being finalized with Viacom concerning a live music event to be held in portions of the waterfront. 282 is an agreement for the sewer plant for monthly effluent toxicity testing. This is a DEP requirement. Resolution 283 is the application for a 5-year tax abatement filed by Brother in the Blue LLC. This was the gentleman who was here at the last council meeting. Resolution 284 is referring proposed amendments to the waterfront redevelopment plan to the planning board. Resolution 258 is a subsequent developer agreement with Regional Development Group LLC for the development of 215 First Avenue. Resolution 285 is a JAG grant. The police department does not know what they're going to be using the money for. This is an annual item. They're currently, the resolution has to be adopted tonight for the application, but we are looking at additional cameras or license plate reader speed trailers for the city. 286 is appointing a member to the zoning board, and 287 is appointing a member to the green team. And I'd just like to remind the clerk to read the names during the resolution process. Is there any questions on individual resolutions? Moving forward to introduction of ordinances. There is a bond ordinance to increase an authorization. This is for the traffic signal at Asbury and Ridge. As you know, every year we've been replacing the old traffic lights that are on wires with standardized up to code traffic signals. We've been able to knock out the cheaper ones. So the costs are now going to escalate as these are harder and harder to replace. This cost includes that there has to be some taking and some utility work that has to be done. Introduction of ordinance for 2019-35 is in relation to resolution that 2019-279, which canceled the general appropriations. We are proposing milling and paving various roads within the city. Public Works is currently trying to get some price quotes from the county. This is a stopgap measure for some of our worst roads before we can actually do a complete reconstruction. So right now what we're looking at is roads that have decent sewer lines that we can mill and pave. Any of the roads would be approved by the governing body as part of the agreement with the county, but this will authorize us to be able to spend money. We're hopeful to be able to present something to either the September or the 1st October meeting before the plants close in November. 36 is amending and supplementing traffic and parking regulations. If there's any questions on that, Mr. Manzella is here. 2019-37 is for the 5-year abatement as discussed in the previous resolution. And ordinance 2019-38 is required to adopt the amendments to the waterfront redevelopment plan. I'll skip the second reading, public hearing, and just go brief once we get to those as we're over the time and start the regular meeting. Is there any questions on the introduction of ordinances? That's all, thank you.
Okay, matters from the city council?
So there are some opportunities for folks to get their children ready for school. On August 5th, there's free eye exams from 10 to 2. August 15th, free eye exams, 10 to 2 at Holy Spirit Church, ages 3 and up. Noon on Tuesdays through August. Meridian Health is doing a Meet the Pediatrician at Ocean Family Success Centers. And there's a backpack giveaway, grades K through 8, and free haircuts for ages 5 through 12, Saturday, August 31st at the J Stop Barbershop at 609 Main Street. I also wanted to let people know that the Boys and Girls Club is having an open house, 1201 Monroe Avenue, Saturday, August 24th from 12 to 3. Rain date will be August 25th. That's it.
On tomorrow evening at St. Stephen's Church, the Asbury Park Community Action Network is inviting everyone to come out to a community meeting to discuss violence and the solutions to that in the city. So everybody is welcome. Its meeting is at 6 o'clock, between 6 and 7:30. St. Stephen's is located on the corner of Springwood Avenue and Prospect. And everyone is encouraged to attend.
Thank you. Jesse?
Yes, as excuse me, as you might have heard or know, that this past week, where Detective Bird was laid to rest, and I think I could speak to everybody up here that we really appreciate so many people that came out and appreciate the people that was involved setting this up. And we just say God bless the family, and she was a beautiful person. I want to talk also about one of Asbury Park finest. About 2 weeks ago, this young man, he was there alone, and a lady got hit with a bicycle, and she flipped over, and he was bleeding. He was the first one there, and he comforted her, and he set her down. He stopped the bleeding, and he asked her, did she want medical attention, want to go to the hospital? She said no. And he waited, and he waited till she was comfortable. And I asked this gentleman, this officer, what is your name? Then I happened to see his name on the shirt. It was Officer Salerno. And I asked a big shout out for him, because I tell you, he did a good job. The lady was bleeding, he calmed her down, and the people that are around her was hysterical. So I tell you, I just want his supervisors over there to know that this particular guy did one heck of a job, Mr. Salerno. Thank you.
Just sticking with the thank you theme, we want to thank the officers for doing National Night Out. Great job, Mike. And Alicia Cassandra for doing the back to school block party. That was also great. We gave out hundreds of book bags, essentially. And just an FYI for people, the new valet parking service, the hours are being adjusted to Friday and Saturday from 5 to 11:30.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay. We're on to matters from the city manager.
None at this time.
Matters from the city attorney.
And nothing at this time.
Okay. Adjournment.
We can go right into it.
No,
Wanna
wait
go
a
right-
second. Yeah, motion to adjourn, but then don't bring us in for a second. I want to
Okay.
ask Michael a question.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I don't know, we'll talk.
Read it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Regular meeting call to order. Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Clayton.
Here.
Councilmember Kendall.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Here.
Mayor Moore.
She doesn't have, we'll just give one. She doesn't have to get up.
Well, I didn't ask for that. Here.
Okay, we're on to, please, silent prayer, a moment of reflection. Please stand. We'll now salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As to comply with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the following manner. The annual notice was forwarded to the Asbury Park Press, the Coaster, the Star Ledger on January 2nd, 2019, and posted on the bulletin board on the same date. All notices are on file with the city clerk. On to public participation. Do I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please come to the mic, state your name. You have 3 minutes.
Ernest McNolly, 400 Deal Lake Drive, Asbury Park. I don't want to forget, I'm going to leave 2 shards I picked up today off the boardwalk. I've been witnessing little children getting these things stuck in their feet. And so can I leave them with someone just as evidence? No? No one wants them? Hello?
Yes, leave them in the dust before you leave.
Okay. Next thing is, I have some handouts for you about the city manager and the way he's being biased and partisan about a special interest in town, particularly about signs, banners, etc. I have here all the Oprah information. This thing is a disgrace, to say the least. Every comment that the city manager makes here is not true. He's got JCPL signed approvals. He doesn't. He's got this, he's got that. Really, the bottom line is, he worked a deal with the Garden State Equality 3 days before to mount that using city employees. This needs to be investigated. I made copies for you. Okay, they're not cheap, but I have because the Oprah. And here's all the things. and you try and show me the signatures and the approvals that the city manager talks about. And plus, he's not nice to anybody in the neighborhood who doesn't like what's going on there. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a 90-year-old or a 30-year-old. He thinks he could just mouth off to anybody. And obviously no one's stopping it, so he can. So, since all my time is wasted coming here tonight, I have 7 copies. Who should I leave them with? This critical stuff. I'm alleging that the city manager knowingly and wantonly violated both laws, people's rights, and city protocol, and on numerous occasions has misled the public and the council, etc. So can I give one to the press? Will they at least, maybe? No, of course they won't take it. Here we go. How about I give them all to you, Mayor? You disperse them, all right?
Okay.
Okay. And that's it, we have a minute left. So the condition of the boardwalk has been the same for years. How this boardwalk even stays open, and you know me, I'm pretty methodical about documenting things. And I probably have about 30 little kids crying with blood coming out of their feet, adults falling on their face, and nothing is done. Nothing. Nothing. And of course, what's ever wrong with this city, the city manager likes to take credit for it. What's right or what's wrong? Well, how about let's start with a long list of what's wrong. And can't contact this person. He's rude to anyone who calls, slams doors in people's face, calls people homophobes. I mean, where does this all come from? Who's empowered this city manager? I got 17 seconds for an answer.
You got 17 seconds, what?
For an answer, where does he get empowered to treat us like that? And who's gonna do something about it?
Your comments are duly noted, and I heard them, and as far
Mayor,
as...
I've heard that for 4 years.
Oh, you probably hear it for...
I'll give you the copies.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
And there are members of the paper here if you want to give them to them. Press.
These are the shorts, okay?
Okay. The 7
And
copies.
they're right from conventional law. Here's the 7 copies. And I mean, if you look over this whole packet about the way this thing was done, somebody's got some explaining to do. I think that's it.
Okay, let's go.
All right, would you give it to
So
significant?
give them to me, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
you know where I'm going now, right?
All right. LB.
Robert Wiener, 601 Madison. This is regarding the Sacman presentation. And before I start, I just want to compliment Carter because I want to give him all the props and credit for what he did for the downtown and bringing the downtown back to life. That being said, I've asked this before, sometimes in jest, but now I'm really serious. We need a Carter Sacman czar. Somebody that I was dizzy from that presentation, and I personally don't think it's Amy Quinn's job or Eileen Chapman's job to try and figure out what was just said. I would like to know on a big map showing every project. Don't forget, in the downtown, this is just all within a quarter of a mile, or maybe even less. What the parking requirements are for each project, what's the start dates, what are the end dates, and what parking spots will be taken up with dumpsters or vehicles. And these are just the 3 projects that he just talked about. Well, I didn't hear him say anything about Lake Avenue. And in case you didn't know, yesterday he sent notices to all his tenants on Bangs Avenue that they have 4 months to vacate. So obviously there's a new project coming up. I didn't hear anything about that. So we need a whole litany of what's going on. I don't know what's going on. If everybody here wasn't dizzy by that presentation, that's better than me. I have asked a number of times where I'm personally going to park. This is the first time I even got a legitimate answer, semi-legitimate answer. There are 80 cars, 90 cars in the parking lot right now where they're trying to build up a 17-story project. He wants to move us now to the iStar project. Is he going to charge us $150 a month each as he does now? And what is iStar going to do with all of those cars that fill up that lot during the summer? Will I have a guaranteed space? Is iStar not giving up those spaces? I just hear so much back and forth and numbers and shifting, and it makes me dizzy. And and if it's $100 million involved in this project with one man who has about 30, 40 different properties in this town, I think somebody has to really concentrate and not be taken over by this fast-talking presentation that made me dizzy. So two other quick questions. I was at the planning board meeting, and I thought they said the hotel had 300 spots. I don't know if that changed. And what about the City Hall parking lot that's being planned right now? Does this affect that? Are we going to go ahead with that? Does it have any impact on our plans there? So I had so many notes, but 30 seconds, 2 or 3 minutes is not enough. My wife's behind me. Maybe she has something to say. I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Anita Weiner, 601 Madison. Okay, so is it possible to put up the kinds of documents that were being presented today on the large screen where not only you have a picture of what's going on, but we in the audience and those who will possibly be affected can see as well what the potential issues are? And can the mics be used? Because nobody was talking into a microphone when he was up there talking. He was talking to you. But that's important, but it's also important for us to hear what he's saying, because we're an interested party. I live at 601. Now, if we're going to park at iStar on Grand and Cookman or wherever that is, what about the people with handicap plates? Are they going to be able to walk from that parking facility to the 601 building in the wet rain, the snow, with their walkers? Where are they going to park if it's a 3-year project? So I think there are a lot of complications going to go on with this project. And I hope these concerns are passed on to the people who are concerned, because I live there and I'm not handicapped yet, God forbid, but in 3 years' time, I want to make sure I can get from where I'm parking to where I live. And I appreciate all the time and effort that you're putting into this. This cannot be easy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Felicia Simmons, 1034 Sewell Avenue, Asbury Park. On behalf of Monmouth Ocean County National Action Network, what I happen to be president of, and the president of the Asbury Park chapter of the National Action Network as Nicole Harris. I'm going to read to you a brief assessment that we plan to circulate through the West Side and to look, we're looking to plan an assessment to help with amenities and different development options for the West Side quadrant of the Asbury Park City. I'm not going to go through the brief paragraph that we have on top, but it's pretty much saying that we're looking to walk hand in hand with the city and the current development to something that is respectful and meaningful for all parties of the city. On some of these options on there, we have few options that you can pick. We're looking for mixed-use commercial residency, low-income, affordable market rate, affordable commercial space, standalone stores, markets, banking, green space, gardens and parks, recreational, social rooms, hospitality services, and fitness and cultural implementation throughout the city on that side. So those are brief, plus you can write in your own different things that you might want to see. We're trying to look to work together so everybody can come up in a happy and productive city. And then also, because I missed the first part of the meeting, she spoke about just my mind going, and the valet that Deputy Mayor spoke about earlier. Isn't it possible, if it's a far distance, to maybe have a kind of satellite valet that can kind of park the cars for you and then kind of go home? That's just me off the top of my head, something, maybe a quick cure or something. Because again, I missed the first part. But I'm also looking forward to some of the development that Sacman is doing that will personally benefit greatly the city and all residents of the city. So I'm, go Sacman and good, mindful city development. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Hello, Pat Scavino, 631 Cookman Avenue. I wanted to comment on the Sacman proposal that we just had. As you know, I've been here a long time, and I'm very concerned with anything that happens downtown. There was a lot presented there in a very short time, and I know that you all and I as well have to kind of digest it and see, how the pieces play out and what immediate effect it has. The long term, I think, it looks like a really good plan. All right. So first thing, the height. I know that we're upset or concerned about the height of these buildings. Once you go over a certain height, I don't think it really matters. I think what really matters is what is he building and what service is he going to provide to the community other than just the housing. Okay, so if he's going to provide more parking than we have now, that's a great thing. But once again, I think that we should look at it. The feasibility of it, no developer is going to spend $100 million if his businesses that he creates are going to cannibalize each other because nobody can get there. I think that it's on his shoulders to actually make sure it works for him. Otherwise, he's going to be sitting on a tremendous amount of debt and no way to pay for the debt because he's not going to have anybody renting from him and he's not going to be able to rent his stores out. And if nobody can come to the stores, they're going to go out of business. So I think that he has to look very strongly at whether or not this works, and hopefully he has. And once again, I agree that this isn't your problem. I mean, this is everybody's problem that has to look at this and get some experts in to really, digest what is being proposed here. As far as the jobs, Amy, you commented that all of our business owners, and I know them too, are having a real hard time finding a workforce. Now, are they having a hard time finding a workforce that is trained, or are they just finding a hard time filling positions and having bodies in their stores and in their restaurants? Because I personally think that we just don't have any type of job program here that trains these people to work. And they go through people, it's like a revolving door, and I hear all the complaints. They call me if I know anybody that can work. And obviously I don't, because that's not what I do. But I think if we have somebody like Chef Burke here that wants to do this, and it doesn't impact the downtown in a very negative way as far as density and traffic and parking, I think it's a great idea. I mean, there's another feather in Asbury's cap that they have something that's very special here. As far as the market downtown, I don't think that parking for the market should be a real issue, because my feeling is that if I don't, I'm sorry.
Finish your paragraph.
All right. My feeling is if I don't live downtown, all right, am I going to really go to the market downtown and drive? I think that the market is really going to just handle the people that are downtown that can walk there. Would you go to downtown if you had to have a problem parking or had to pay for parking when there's other places to go? So I don't really think that that's an issue. If they're going to provide 30 spots, I think that's more than enough. That's the number that I heard. And Michael.
Nope, that was it.
That's
Finish
it.
your paragraph. Okay. Enough. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay up front?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. My name is Jennifer Phillips Smith. I'm an attorney with Gibbons PC. I'm here tonight on behalf of Asbury Partners. And we're here specifically to talk about Resolution 2019-284 and Ordinance 2019-38. These amendments to the Waterfront Redevelopment Plan are part of the process of amending the plan to allow for the new design for the boardwalk, the design that came out of the public process over the course of the last several months. And the form of the ordinance that's in the packets tonight, it is an ordinance that has been reviewed by my client and by my client's planner and by me. And we're comfortable with those changes and ready to move forward with them. We do understand that the council discussed the resolution and the ordinance today in executive session. And if the council has any pause at all about anything that's in the amendment, we would ask that instead of trying to change something on the fly, that it be tabled to allow time to have further discussion and to get it right. We want to make sure we get everything right. So I don't know if you do have concerns, but if you do, it would be better to table it, come back in September, have some discussion, fix any problems before we move forward with the process of moving an ordinance ahead. So thank you.
I thank you, but I'm going to correct you a little bit. What was presented to us, I'm going to say is, and I'm going to have the numbers wrong, so I'm shooting from the hip, was 6 proposals together. And we agreed to 5 of them, the most important one being the boardwalk. And we were told if it's not all 6, the deal's off. So we're willing to okay 5 tonight. We will not table it, but you and your boss want all 6 done at one time. So if the boardwalk's delayed, you're not going to say it's because we pulled the plug on the boardwalk. You put 6 together, we're fine with 5. We have a couple small questions on the 6th one, which we think we can work out. I stopped the meeting tonight knowing you were coming down to see if you could talk and say, you're right. We're in agreement with 5 out of 6. Let's pass those tonight. It's your decision to pull all 6, not ours.
Just to clarify, so we know what was in the agenda packet. The public has what's in the agenda packet. We did get word very shortly before the meeting that the council might have concerns. Sounds like that's accurate. And I'm not here tonight to say we must have 5 or we must have 6. But what I am saying is I don't think that amending ordinances on the fly just before the meeting is a way to move everything forward collaboratively. If you have concerns and want to make changes, let's talk about them.
The first time the council got them and could talk about them was tonight in closed exec. Do you want us to violate the law? If we did that beforehand, we would have violated the law.
No.
So the first time the entire council could talk about these 5 or 6 combined requests was tonight. So
Right.
during closed exec from 4 to 6, we talked about it. Again, we had 2 minute problems with one of your 5 requests or 6 requests. Again, you tell us, pull that one and pass the other 5 tonight, and they're passed.
I can't make a decision like that.
I know,
Just
but we called asking for that decision to be made.
I know,
But I'm just not going to be, and I'm sorry.
No, but Mayor, here's
I know
here's
you're doing what your client's telling you to do, but I'm not going to sit here and say, well, the boardwalk was put off until September meeting because the mayor and council voted that way. No, you're saying to pull all 6, and part of the 6 is the boardwalk.
Mayor.
Yes.
My understanding is that if you introduce this ordinance tonight, that it was going to be heard by the planning board on September 23rd and would be considered for public hearing on September 25th. That can still happen if you introduce the ordinance on September 11th and it goes to the planning board on September 23rd and then it comes back to council on September 25th. There would be no delay in the overall consideration of this ordinance. But what I am saying is that if the council, after reviewing it this evening, has concerns, rather than moving part forward and keeping part later and having some ambiguity, let's talk about what your concerns are and see if we can address them, and if you can address them, and then put it on the agenda for September 11th, and there would be no overall delay. I think if you're saying that the council reviewed it this evening and there's concerns, and then turning back to my client and saying, we're going to give you a half an hour to decide whether you're okay with those concerns, that's not quite the way we should work out something for the long
as somebody
Mm.
term.
who's just defending you, I think you are changing the narrative of this story.
No.
You're changing the narrative of this story. We have concerns about 1.
Right.
We have small concerns about one part of the 6.
Right.
The other 5, we have absolutely no concerns about, and it ensures the boardwalk stays in the motion in which it's been going, which is forward collaboratively. The thing we have concerns about has absolutely nothing to do with the boardwalk. It couldn't have anything less to do with the boardwalk. It is a completely separate concern regarding parking.
Right. And about being able to do more structured parking downtown. That's the goal of that provision.
No, not
No,
that.
I'm sorry, in the waterfront. I've been hearing
yes.
about downtown, right? More structured parking in the waterfront. And I guess what
Listen, I'll table it. I don't care. I appreciate John's
it doesn't have any impact on the overall consideration of the ordinance. It would still be considered by September 25th if that's where you choose to go. But I think it's important that if you have concerns about the ordinance rather than just taking pieces out of it, if you have concerns, let's talk about the concerns. Let's address them. Let's see if we can come up with a way to go through them. Because as of right now, you had concerns in executive session. We don't fully understand your concerns. You don't fully understand our concerns. So let's talk about them. And I think we can still move this
Well,
forward.
we're
for
going to
September
agree
11th.
to disagree. Where I totally understand. You have to listen to your boss, who's paying their salary. We're totally saying there are 6 requests. We're 100% for 5 out of 6. We have questions about one of them. So if you want to pull, and you made the suggestion, we table all 6, we'll table all 6. I think that's childish on your part, but go ahead.
But it's one ordinance, it's not 6 ordinances. So you would have to vote tonight to amend the ordinance to remove a section of it, move the rest forward.
And
it would go to planning board.
And we were told we could do that.
And then you would have to restart the process again on the other piece and move it forward for its own separate 3 meetings, so that you would be doing 2 full amendments to the redevelopment plan. What I'm saying is it's not 6 separate ordinances, it's 1. So let's just have a discussion. If there's issues, we'll talk about them.
Fine, but we could have moved the other 5 forward tonight.
I'm sorry?
We could have moved the other 5 issues forward
Right.
tonight and
And consider them on September 25th, exactly where we're going to end up, hopefully, after we talk about whatever the issues are that the council has.
yes, thank you
Thank
for
you.
thank you for trying to put the blame on us. Thank you.
Hi, Rita Morano, 8th Avenue. I have 4 questions. First one is about the boardwalk. As I start paying for the boardwalk from his funds, or is he using the infrastructure money from the bond that we have? And I'd like to know what that bond is doing and how much was used out of the $50 million bond, if we can get some kind of information about it. The other thing was the pilot programs, and I see where you're doing tax abatements tonight. I think that's a real slap in the face to every taxpayer in this city that got a $300 increase like I did. Why are you still giving pilot programs out when you know that they're wrong? They don't pay school tax. That's wrong. And I'm very upset with that. And there's 2 or 3 of them tonight. Pilot program, abatements, and all that. You should stop that stuff. That's not necessary anymore. It wasn't necessary to begin with. We have a beautiful ocean front that nobody knew how to do anything. And the third thing I wanted to talk about was the flagpole that Ernie mentioned. I don't know, he seemed to have more information than Louise and I got. I don't think we got the full Oprah request. And I'd like to know why we didn't get it and why it's still up. And you sent me Mr. Luna, who is, I don't want to say it here, but he was kind enough to call me, but he is.
He's the head of JCP&L.
He's what?
Isn't he the head of JCP&L?
What?
Okay.
I think she's our rep. Where is the paperwork? There's a million instructions on what you got to do, and you didn't do any of them. The city manager put it up with city employees, but that's about it. There was no answer from Jersey Central Power and Light. We're not stupid, Amy. That has to come down. And the 4th thing about the gates, I am so glad that that Neptune said no. I mean, you think the gates are important? You have a beer garden that provides 700 people up there with liquor, and they're looking at houses that are worth a lot of money, and then you want to keep the gates open? That's wrong. Those people are our neighbors. They have a right to live. Nobody would like to live near a beer garden, I'll tell you that. We have enough problems living in a residential neighborhood, if that's what they call it anymore, with the those scooters. Who checks the age anyway? I've seen a lot of young people on those scooters. And who's going to pay if anything happens? Okay?
Okay.
Number 1, the boardwalk, who's paying? And where's the money coming from?
The money, same as the original proposal, is coming out of the RAB money.
Out of the
And
what?
The redevelopment area bonds, is that the correct, okay, right? So same as it was always, be it if it was going to be meandering or the new realignment, same exact place. just a higher cost. There's only one, there's no pilots on tonight's agenda. There's a 5-year abatement that the gentleman applied for before January 1st when we got rid of the program altogether. So nobody else can apply, except I think 2 residents are applied, so they won't come before, so they'll definitely get it. So he applied. Truthfully, it's an excellent project. It's on Springwood Avenue. It's an art project that's going to do a lot. And over the course of like him getting a 5-year abatement, we're gaining money instead of the lot staying empty. And the 6th year will be making more than if it was a regular taxes. So it's a good program. It's for arts. It's for artists. He's doing a great workforce development program as far as children for free. So I think it's a great program. You could disagree. As far as like you saying you think the gate issue is stupid, we all have our different opinions. I think, what you just said, could be stupid also. So you're entitled to your opinion. The scooters, Mr. Manzello's on top of it. We had some kinks. We're working it out. We have insurance. We upped the price of the insurance in case there is an accident. The company's responsible. And they wanted to roll out another 25 last week, and we said not till we get all the kinks out. Are we going to get 100% of the kinks out? No, there's going to be kids, some stupid father is going to let their kid ride. And then our police will enforce it when they can. And the flagpole, after I think it was 2 meetings over, it was after the meeting when you brought it up the last time.
Yeah.
It was right after, it was the night after we had or 2 nights after we had the storm. And we still had, Amy had no power, Jimmy's Restaurant had no power, 7-Eleven had no power. Right after the meeting, I called Frank Luna, who is the area rep for Asbury Park.
He's the exterior, whatever that is.
He what?
They call him the exterior rep, whatever that is.
Well,
outside
I don't know what
looking
they call him. But I brought up point blank, Frank, at the meeting tonight, it came up about this flagpole. And he said, John, I'm going to assure you everything was done perfectly legal. I walked the paperwork through myself. So
you saw the paperwork?
This is what he told me. And I'll swear on the Bible, this is what he told me. So if you don't believe me, if you don't believe him, I suggest you get in touch with his boss. He told me it was perfectly legal, and he walked the paperwork through himself. I brought it up to him. I said, Frank, it came up at the council meeting. So
he told me it was verbal.
He told me everything was done perfectly legally. And he was the one who walked the paperwork through.
It's wrong.
Okay, but then you have to get in touch with his boss.
Oh, so we have to do all the work. Okay,
I talked to him. He's our area rep. And I'm taking it at his word.
I just wanted to tell you one thing. I gave you the controller's report way back when, and it tells you all about the pilot programs. I think you should reread that and see how many millions of dollars we're losing.
Thank you.
Louise Murray, Grand Avenue. I don't want to beat it to death, but this poll issue, okay? My issue with the whole thing is, first of all, Frank Luna, if he's projecting himself as the head of JCP&L, wrong.
No, he's the...
And I will take, I will take responsibility for, I will take responsibility for that, no problem.
Thing I'm concerned about, and I'm not letting it go, it's on a state highway. We've been through this before. It's not just a side street where you can throw up any banner you want. It's a New Jersey state highway. And there are violations, there are regulations and everything else. And everybody seems to be slipping under the wire with this. And I'm not letting it go. So with that put aside, all right, as far as Ocean Grove goes, there's more than one way of skinning a cat. You want to go to Ocean Grove, you don't have to go through the gates, just go up the boardwalk. You should know that, Eileen. Go up Main Street, you should know that. The other thing, something pleasant, I had a tree put in front of my house, I don't know how many, a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, I don't know what kind of a tree it is. But it's a nice tree, except it doesn't grow like a tree, like most trees. It doesn't have a trunk. And then the leaves, it has leaves coming out of here, there, and all over, okay? And eventually it looks like a bush. But anyway, I called up Public Works, and I must say, I left a message early in the morning, and I said to them, please, this is Louise Murray. I said, I don't know who to call, if you have anything to do with it, but get back to me if not. But this tree needs to be trimmed. The city put it there, and I don't know which direction to go. I was away for a day. I come back, and it's all trimmed nicely. So kudos to Public Works. Just want you to know. And it was done leaving a message, because you never get them either, because they were so busy. I did call them back and thank them for it. Just wanted to let you know.
Thank you. And do me a favor. I'm sure JCP&L has a website or something like that. Find out who Frank Luna's boss is. And if you can't, call me and I'll give you Frank Luna's phone number. And you can call him and ask him, who's your boss? Because the mayor said you told him you walked the paperwork through. And we don't believe that. He said everything was done legal, Louise. Okay.
Good evening, Catherine Murphy, Deal Lake Drive. I'm just curious, I heard Jennifer say something about an ordinance, or one of the ordinances being about the redesign of the boardwalk. I just wanted to clarify exactly what that means. Our understanding, or my understanding, is that the boardwalk is being built back to the size that it was when it was taken down, which was, I believe, 64 feet wide up to 7th Avenue, and then 32 to 34 feet wide to Deal Lake Drive. So if there is a redesign of the conceptual plan that T&M and the council and the community came up with, and it was just submitted, how would one access that information, and what does that look like specifically?
Okay, Michael, you can correct me when I'm going to be wrong. What it was clarifying the language from the original request from the 15-foot meandering to change that language so it's consistent with the plan. It was changed to what the charrettes and everything solved. So that was the only thing. It was getting out the bad language or the old language where 15 foot at grade level to the correct language is what the population requested.
I see.
Which has to be done.
Yes, no, thank you for the clarification. I also wanted to comment on the scooters. I think they are a great idea, but I have seen a lot of underage people on them, multiples, and I'm just very concerned that it's just a matter of time before something very bad happens. I see them around 805 2nd Avenue, Rite Aid, on Memorial, on Grand, and they seem to be faster than what I thought they were going to be allowed. So I just, am sharing my observations because I don't want anything to happen to anyone. So anyhow, thank you.
I think we all have the same concern, and I think Mr. Manziel is doing as good as he can. We're trying to get the word out to everybody because social media, a lot of people in Asbury Park, a lot of visitors don't have the same social media as we put out there. I was down on the beachfront today, and there was a father and probably a 12-year-old daughter, and the father was on the bicycle, and the father rented one for the daughter and just let her ride up and down 2nd Avenue just practicing on it. So is it against the law?
Is there a legal age for operating that? Is it the same as driving?
18. Okay, go ahead, Mike. Yep.
I can answer the question. The scooter share program, riders have to be.
Can you hear him?
The scooter share program, riders have to be 18 or over. One of the things that wasn't there at the launch was put in within a week of the launch. All riders now have to actually scan their driver's license, and it does an automatic age verification to make sure they're 18 and over. What that doesn't prevent is an adult, irresponsible parent renting the scooter for their child and letting them ride it. So that's a tougher thing to prevent, but we're working on education and other ways so we can improve that.
Thank you.
Motion to close.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor? John?
Yeah, before we go on to the agenda, I just have a short announcement. Hector Palama has resigned from the library board, so it's my appointment. So I'm appointing Jan Sparrow to be appointed to fulfill the term and that term ends December 31st, 2019. So if you could send that to Bob Stewart tomorrow to make sure she gets sworn in so she can attend the meeting so they can have a quorum. Appreciate it.
I will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're on to item F, minutes. We have the executive session minutes of July 24th, the workshop minutes of July 24th, the regular council meeting of July 24th. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
We're on to the consent agenda resolutions. We have 2019-275, a resolution approving the special events application with the removal of I Believe in Me. 2019-276, resolution amending the metered parking requirements in the downtown and waterfront areas of the city, effective every Saturday during the time period from November 30th, 2019 through December 21st, 2019. 2019-277, a resolution amending the metered parking requirements for the waterfront area of the city effective during the See Here Now Festival. 2019-278, a resolution to refund overpaid taxes for 3602-4 404 7th Avenue. 2019-279, a resolution canceling balances of the completed general capital improvement authorizations. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
On to item H, individual resolutions. We have Resolution 2019-280, a resolution authorizing the payment of bills. Councilperson Chapman is abstaining from 19-02399. Do I have a motion?
Move it. Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
No.
We're on to Resolution 2019-281, authorizing the execution of a use and license agreement with Viacom and related documents concerning a live music event to be held in a designated portion of the Asbury Park waterfront area. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-282, a resolution authorizing an agreement for monthly affluent toxicity testing at the sewer plant. Do I have a motion?
Move it. Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
To Resolution 2019-283, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Asbury Park approving an application for a 5-year abatement filed by Brother in the Blue LLC. Do I have a motion?
Move it. Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-284, a resolution of the City of Asbury Park referring the proposed amendment to the waterfront redevelopment plan dated August 2019 to the Planning Board in accordance with local redevelopment and housing law NJSA 40A:12A-7. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
And let me clarify.
We are
moving this forward.
tabling.
Are you moving it forward?
Table. Move to table.
Or are you moving it to table?
Okay. Motion to table?
Yes.
Move it.
Move to table.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Resolution tabled. On to Resolution 2019-258, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Asbury Park to enter into a subsequent developer agreement with Regional Development Group, LLC, for the development of property located at Block 3901, Lot 11, 215 First Avenue. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor, Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
2, Resolution 2019-285 authorizes the submission of a grant application to the United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Bureau of Justice, Assistance Grants Funding under the 2019 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance JAG program. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
2, Resolution 2019-286, appointing members to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, the City of Asbury Park. We have Christopher Gonzalez with a term to expire on December 2020, Jill Potter, a term to expire on December 31st, 2021, and Timothy Zilek, a term to expire on December 31st, 2019. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton? Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
2, 2019-287, a resolution approving an appointment to the City of Asbury Park Green Team, Tara Giorfi. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Okay, we are on to item I, ordinances for introduction. We have ordinance 2019-34, a bond ordinance amending and supplementing bond ordinance number 2019-7, which provides for parking utility improvements, heretofore finally adopted by the City Council of the City of Asbury Park in the County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, on March 13, 2019, to increase the appropriation by $135,000 and to increase the authorization of bonds or notes by $135,000. Do I have a motion? And a public hearing date of September 11th.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall? Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Introduction of ordinance 2019-35, a capital ordinance appropriating the sum of $119,000 for milling and paving of various roads in the City of Asbury Park with a public hearing date of September 11th. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-36, ordinance of the City of Asbury Park amending and supplementing Chapter 7 of the Code of the City of Asbury Park regarding traffic and parking regulations with a public hearing date of September 11th. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-37, an ordinance authorizing the City of Asbury Park to grant a 5-year abatement for property designated as Block 1101, Lots 41 and 42, and authorizing the mayor and the municipal clerk to execute the attached agreement with a public hearing date of September 11th. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Ordinance 2019-38, an ordinance of the City of Asbury Park authorizing the adoption of the amendment to the waterfront redevelopment plan. This is a motion to table.
You need a motion?
A motion.
Motion to table then.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Ordinance tabled. We're on to second readings, public hearings. Do I have a motion to open ordinance 2019-28, which is an ordinance of the City of Asbury Park, amending Chapter 8, establishing Article 4, valet parking to the public? A motion to open.
Move it.
Move to open.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
2019-28 is now open to the public. Are
Anybody
there,
like to be heard? Motion to close.
Move it.
Second.
all in favor? Motion to adopt 2019-28. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton? Councilmember Kendall?
Excuse me, yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to open 2019-31, an ordinance of the City of Asbury Park amending traffic and parking regulations, Chapter 8, designating parking for electric or plug-in hybrid vehicles to the public?
Move to open.
Second.
All in favor? 2019-31 is now open to the public. Are there any questions?
Motion to close.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to adopt 2019-31?
Move it.
Second,
Councilmember Chapman?
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Ordinance 2019-30, an ordinance of the City of Asbury Park, amending Chapter 7 of the Code of the City of Asbury Park regarding traffic regulations. Do I have a motion to open 2019-30 to the public?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor? 2019-30 is now open to the public. Are there any questions?
Move to close.
Second.
All in favor? Do I have a motion to adopt 2019-30?
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Chapman?
No.
Councilmember Clayton?
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor? All right.